Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with us today. What we're going to talk about today is kind of fun. We're going to cover secret health tips. These are some of the things that I do every single day and things I've compiled over the years, and then things that you can do too. So it's going to be a little rapid fire tips on a lot of different topics today. So it's kind of it'll be the Carol Burnett show of healthcare if you're old enough to get that reference. It's a variety show today. So a lot to cover. Let's jump right in. A couple of things. Eating more fruits and vegetables, of course, I love that, can actually increase the production of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And that can reduce depression. Now, BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, is a gene, basically. It's in your brain, and it causes the other cells to work more efficiently. It helps the brain cells mature. It helps them work more efficiently, work together with each other. Helps maintain the function. So it's really important. And as we get older and as we poison our bodies, brain-derived neurotrophic factor starts to drop, BDNF. And so we can boost that pretty simply by eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. There are chemicals that are not really vitamins or minerals. They're called flavonoids. And flavonoids appear to protect against the symptoms of depression. The Harvard Nurses study. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's an ongoing study. It's been going on for decades now. And they're following nurses through their life cycle. And it's really cool, some of the stuff that's come out of there. One of the things that came out of that study years ago was that the more dairy products you consume, the higher your risk of osteoporosis. Now, sounds counterintuitive, right? You would think, no. The lower the risk, Dr. Joe, because dairy products have calcium in them. They found that there's also two amino acids, methionine and cysteine, that have to be neutralized because they're acid, and the body uses calcium to neutralize the acids. So the body takes calcium out of the bones and out of the blood to neutralize the acids in the milk, and then milk gives a little calcium back. But the net of the calcium is that you actually lose calcium over time. So it's something I want you to consider there, that you're actually losing calcium over time by doing more dairy. Again, that's just one of these things that come out of these long-term studies. So that's following tens of thousands of women. They found that those eating the most fruits and vegetables and nuts had better brain function. Now, there's a supplement that's also included in this called turmeric. Now, if you've never done turmeric, what turmeric does, turmeric is one of the healthiest foods in the world. It's anti-inflammatory. It's been shown to help people with cancer. It helps the body function more efficiently. It helps brain function. So turmeric is widely used in like Indian foods and curries. But we here in the States don't really use a lot of turmeric. So one of the supplements I take every day, and it's on our website, drjoe.com, is turmeric. And I take two capsules a day. It's just part of my daily regimen. And it's just to help fight inflammation, keep me young, keep the brain working more efficiently. I have turmeric growing in my backyard. Years ago, I had some turmeric that was starting to get old. So I just threw it into my garden as compost. And well, it took root. And I had to dig it up out of my garden last year. It grew so much, and I planted it. I have a stream. I planted on a stream. I have a little area that goes down to the bank of the stream. And when you plant it, it grows on what's called rhizomes. It grows underground and pops up other sprouts of turmeric. And if I want to use fresh turmeric, which I do, I'll just go out and pull some out. And it's going to keep growing, so it's kind of great. And beautiful, big green leaves, beautiful flowers that come with it. But turmeric, flavonoids, and nuts boost the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and that can help reduce depression. So once again, another boost for eating a plant-based diet. Other fun tips. I want you to cut back on your salt. This is really hard. But salt may be the one thing across the earth that we can all manage to help reduce disease. Because in America, we have diseases of excess. We have too much meat and dairy products and sugars and processed foods. So in first world countries, we have diseases of excess. Third world countries, we have other conditions. Middle of the road countries, we have other conditions. But salt is the one thing that's across all of them. So if we can reduce salt, it really does well. And if you do reduce salt, you reduce high blood pressure, heart disease, kidney disease, on and on and on and on. So if you're going to use salt, I recommend air-dried sea salt or Celtic salt, something natural. It still has the nutrients and the minerals still in there. Now, that doesn't mean you should use that salt. But if you're going to use salt, use that type of salt. Never use white table salt. The stuff is horrible for you. There's nothing good that comes of it. This was interesting. Years ago, a drink became popular called kombucha. I don't know if you know what kombucha was. Kombucha is tea, and you can make your own. You put something called a SCOBY, looks like a giant mushroom, and it's like a starter if you're making a sourdough bread. It's a starter, and you put it in different types of teas, and it ferments the teas. And so it's a little bubbly. And I knew somebody once, and she was trying to cut back her alcohol intake. She drank a lot of alcohol. So she switched to kombucha. Sounded like a good idea. It was bubbly. She could put it in a fancy glass. Well, the problem with that was that kombucha, when it ferments, creates alcohol. In fact, Lindsay Lohan, you might know that name, actually has an impact on kombucha. One time she was arrested for one of her drunken debaucheries, and she told the judge she wasn't drinking alcohol, she was drinking kombucha. So the judge said, wait a minute, we're selling kombucha in grocery stores and it has alcohol in it? So in an instant, the judge ruled all the kombucha in the country had to be taken off all the shelves. Big move. And now kombucha needs to be pasteurized. When you pasteurize it, you take out the alcohol. Well, you're also killing a lot of the good benefits of the bacteria that's in kombucha. So if you're drinking pasteurized kombucha, you're not going to get all the health benefits from it. There is kombucha that you can buy that's not pasteurized, and you have to show ID, because it's an alcohol, to buy it now. You have to show that you're over 21 in Georgia anyway. It's still not a good thing. Consumption of the tea has been discouraged. It's associated with something called lactic acidosis. Your body becomes too acidic. And when your body's too acidic, that's very dangerous. So when kombucha first came out, I was kind of on the fence on it. I knew it had alcohol in it. I can't drink it because I can't drink alcohol. I get dopey real quick. But now it turns out there may be some adverse side effects to it as well. And you can't just substitute kombucha for wine or beer because it still has alcohol in it. Reminds me of a story. Years ago, I went to an AA meeting, and I was amazed how many people were drinking diet sodas. And I was just fascinated. I just thought, this is amazing. Why is so many skinny people at an AA meeting, Alcoholics Anonymous, drinking diet soda? And it turns out diet soda has aspartame in it, the one they were drinking, and aspartame converts into methanol, and methanol is a wood alcohol, and it's an alcohol, essentially. So they were getting drunk at the AA meeting because they were drinking small amounts of alcohol in the artificial sweetener. Well, same thing with kombucha. You can't replace one booze for another booze and say, okay, I don't drink anymore. It doesn't work that way. So it's unfortunate because when it first came out, I thought it might be something good bacteria, it's probiotics. And it turns out may not be the best thing. Now, people ask me all the time. They will say, Dr. Joe, that's me. They say, Dr. Joe, what's your thoughts on intermittent fasting? And I say, I like it. And when I first studied it, and I did it, and I liked it. I always, if I do intermittent fast, I always skip dinner because I like to wake up, take my Dr. Joe's Super Greens, my Dr. Joe's Essential Source, my supplements. And I like to have food because it gives me a little energy. And I'll eat light, and then around 10 o'clock or so, I'll have a snack. And then if depends on the size of the snack, if I'm going to eat lunch or not. But then if I skip dinner, that's the one you want to skip. And I just did that because it met my lifestyle. Well, it turns out that was a good thing because calories eaten in the morning are less fattening, even with the exact same food. The fewer calories after sundown, the better off you're going to be. So when it comes to dieting, it's not only just what you eat, it turns out now it's when you eat. So as soon as the sun goes down, if you stop eating, that's usually a good thing. Now, I know in the winter, the sun goes down a little sooner, but it comes up a little earlier too. So, I understand that. But generally speaking, if you could eat before the sun goes down, you're going to be in better shape. And the calories you eat in the morning are actually going to be burned up quicker than the calories you eat at night. So, bigger meal at lunch or bigger meal at breakfast and then having a very light meal at dinner, you're going to have a much better metabolism and you're going to put on less weight. Isn't that cool? So research is always changing. That's why I'm there. So if you're going to miss a meal, it should be dinner, supper, not breakfast, if you're going to do intermittent fasting. Now, with intermittent fasting, the ultimate would be eating with an 8-hour time slot. And I may cover this later again, but you could eat a lot of food in an 8-hour time slot and then fast for 16 hours. Now, you can do Super Greens and Essential Source. You can do water. But if you don't eat for 16 hours, the body's going to metabolize that food very quickly. So you can eat more food in the 8 hours than you would over a 16-hour day and still be able to maintain good metabolism and lose weight. It's just how the body works. Studies are still coming in on it. I'm not sure if it's really practical. For some people, it becomes a lifestyle. But if I have a dinner appointment or if I have a dinner meeting or something, I don't want to say, oh, I can't eat, because it's part of the meeting. So just letting you know, there's studies out there. The studies are still coming in. Again, eating the good food is always the best choice. Eating more fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds is always going to be the best choice. Now, people ask me a lot. I get a lot of questions in my days. People ask me a lot, and they'll say, Dr. Joe, what about organic versus non-organic? Now, organic is always a better choice, which is good to know for meats and dairy products. And with fruits and vegetables, there's some conflict over, does it have the same amount of vitamins and minerals? Some say yes, some say no. But here's the thing. There are things like phytonutrients. We talked about those earlier. Phytonutrients are significantly higher in organic foods versus conventional foods. Now, phytonutrients help with cancer. They help with heart disease. They help the body function more efficiently. About 20% more. So that would mean if you're eating organic, it may be, let's say, a little more expensive, but dollar for dollar, you're getting more nutrients in the organic food versus the non-organic food. So I try to do as much organic as I possibly can. Sometimes that's not practical when it comes to fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, if I'm out to dinner, if I'm whatever. But if you're going to eat animal products, I don't. And I wish you wouldn't either. But if you're going to, because I'm also a realist, if you're going to eat animal products, I insist that you consider organic only. Because conventional animals are usually fed steroids, hormones, chemicals, pesticides, genetically modified food, glyphosate is sprayed on the food. So it's not the healthiest choice anyway. And then we conventionally raise it, not a good idea. And also even the way the animal's slaughtered. There are some studies that show when an animal knows it's going to be slaughtered, like in a slaughterhouse, they hear the animals being slaughtered on the other side of the fence and they're going in that direction, they release something called adrenaline. Adrenaline gets into the muscles and can be toxic to humans. So, again, large amounts. But we're talking about over a lifetime here. So we don't want to be putting these things into our body over a lifetime and then suddenly say, well, gosh, I got this weird disease. Where'd it come from? Well, you probably didn't get it one day. It probably took years and years to build up in your body. And that's my concern, is I want you to understand that what you do now, one way or another, is going to have an impact on your future. Maybe positive, maybe negative. But I don't want you having negative impact on your health because of something you did when you were younger. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but when I was young, I did some stupid things. And I regret doing those stupid things. I played football. I played hockey. I fractured my back twice. I fractured my wrist. And as you get older, you're thinking, well, I'm healed and I'm ready to just keep going. Well, as you get older, things pop up again. A lot of people come in and say, gosh, Dr. Joe, I hurt my knee when I was a kid playing football, and here I am 50, 60 years old, and now this knee is all torn up. So you will always pay for the things that you do, good or bad, in the future. So if you're eating a good diet now, you'll benefit from that. If you're eating a bad diet now, it's going to come back and bite you. And especially now, we didn't have steroids and hormones and pesticides and genetically modified food and glyphosate when I was a kid. So we got a better jump start than today's generation. There's a Moody Blues song, and it's a band, by the way, from a long time ago. And one of the lines in the song is that I'm frightened for your children. And I like that line because I'm frightened for your children. Because we don't know what we're doing now, what the impact is going to be. And that's why you keep talking about long-term studies. So when you look at something like the nurses study that we talked about earlier, the nurses study has been ongoing for a long time. And I like that because then we can say, okay, gosh, milk usually builds strong bones. We said earlier, it turns out the more dairy products you consume, the higher the rate of osteoporosis. And we had enough people to test it on to say, okay, now we can see it. And so whenever a drug comes out, whenever a food comes out, suddenly it's like, oh, it's great, it's fine, it's the greatest new thing. And then years later, you're seeing lawyers saying, I just saw one today, did you use a CPAP? If you did, call our law firm. You may be entitled to compensation. So we don't know the long-term damage of new things, but we do know the long-term benefits of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. We know the long-term benefits of things like chiropractic care. We know that chiropractic mobilizes joints, reduces the risk of arthritis, can help with pain, can open up the nerves to organs. And that's why more and more people are turning to chiropractic. The Veterans Administration now covers chiropractic care. For years, they didn't. And finally, they realized, wait a minute. Chiropractic is the most effective, least expensive treatment in many back pain cases Why are we not paying for that instead of paying for things like surgery? I'm not against surgery. Sometimes surgery is necessary, but not always. And I cannot tell you the countless number of patients my doctors and I have seen over the years that were told they needed surgery, and then through chiropractic, nutrition, they didn't need it. And I love that, because surgeons, pain management doctors, orthos, neuros, sometimes orthopedics and neurologists, you can't get appointments for weeks in advance, months in advance sometimes. They're so busy. Let us take the burden off a lot of that. Let us see the patients that are chiropractic patients, us meaning the chiropractors, and let's let people who absolutely positively need to see the orthopedists and neurologists and the pain management doctors go there, and we'll take care of everything else. Primary care doctors refer to us all the time because primary care doctors don't have really anything to do for pain patients. So they'll say, here's some drugs. And you probably want to go see a pain management specialist. I'm board certified in pain management. I'm the only chiropractor in the state board certified in pain management. It's pretty cool. So we get a lot of referrals from other doctors because they don't really, it's not something they should handle. Can they handle it? Probably give you some drugs and send you home. But we're better at getting to the cause of the problem and not just treating the symptom. So if you do have a health issue, folks, whether it's nutritional, it's chiropractic, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, we would love to be your doctors. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. All my doctors are handpicked by me. They're trained by me. And here's the thing. They're my personal doctors. If I don't trust them taking care of me and my staff and my family and friends, I don't trust them taking care of you. So I believe you're in the hands of some of the finest doctors in the world. That's my opinion. When you come see us, we accept almost all insurances. Car accidents, if you're ever in a car accident, folks, please come see us right away. Do not wait. It's a game the insurance company play. Well, you didn't go to the doctor. You weren't hurt. We're going to deny your claim. Don't even give them an opportunity to throw that bull dinky out at you. Come see us right away. We can book your appointment usually in 24 to 48 hours. Normal first visit is about $720. We've reduced that to $299. We're going to raise that up again very soon, by the way. So if you do want to make an appointment, now's the time. Again, we accept insurances. You can do it at drjoe.com, or you can call us from the phone numbers on the website. I won't give you a phone number because you won't remember it anyway. And just make an appointment. Stop suffering needlessly. We want to be your doctors. And if it's something we can't help, we're going to tell you right up front. If we truly believe this is not something we even have a chance of helping, we're not going to waste your time or waste our time. My doctors are really busy. They book up very quickly. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, drjoe.com, book an appointment right now. So what we're talking about today is we're talking about some little tips that I've learned over the years, health tips that I want to share with you. So eating organic is always the best choice. We kind of drifted off before that. If you're going to do animal products, I always recommend organic, but there's not a condition that I've ever studied in my entire career. And I've been doing this, between school and everything, 40 years. I've never seen a condition that did better on a meat-based, animal-based diet. Every condition I've ever studied would benefit from eating a plant-based diet. So why wouldn't you eat a plant-based diet? The studies are there, and I'm amazed I even have to show you studies to say, hey, listen, this is the best way to eat. But the studies are there. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, obesity, on and on and on and on. Now, the only challenge to eating a plant-based diet is people say, well, the other stuff tastes good. It does. Absolutely. I was normal once. I remember meatball sandwiches, believe me. However, once you start understanding how to do this, it's so much easier, so much quicker, so much cheaper. With prices skyrocketing right now and inflation going crazy, wouldn't it be great to knock off 20, 30% of your food bill? Easily can be done by eating a plant-based diet. If you don't know what that is, go to our website, drjoe.com, and type in the search bar, so what can I eat? Type in, so what can I eat? Listen to that. It's a whole hour of me just rambling on about breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, parties, raising kids. And my website's free, by the way. If you go there, we don't ask for subscriptions or anything. We have over 2,000 hours of podcasts on the website. And if you're a podcast junkie, go to your podcast service and type in Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe, D-R-J-O-E, for the health of it. And that's where our podcasts live as well. So we can give you information every which way you want. Audio, video, podcast services, anything you want, we're going to give it to you because I want to get you well and I want to keep you well. So again, with animal products, there's no downside to eating plant-based diet, except the meat tastes good. But that's the only downside I can think of. So once you start eating the good food, you'll realize that stuff even tastes better than the meats. I don't. If you're going to do coffee or tea, this is kind of something I've never covered before. Coffee or tea have acid in it. And if you're concerned about iron, which a lot of people come in at iron deficient, especially women during childbearing years, any type of tea, green tea, black tea, not herbal teas, but traditional teas, any of the teas will do it. And in fact, coffee does it too. And what it does, it prevents you from absorbing iron. So you should not drink tea with meals about 30 minutes to an hour before, if you're going to drink tea, or even longer afterwards, because it takes, 4 or 5 hours sometimes to get food from your stomach into your small intestine. So you don't want to be drinking your tea. You only want to drink it on an empty stomach is really what it boils down to. Iron-rich foods can actually bind to the iron and inhibit the absorption. So I've had women come in and say, well, Dr. Joe, I'm anemic, sometimes men, but usually women, and they've taken iron supplements. They can't figure out what it is. I look at their diet. They're drinking coffee or tea with every meal. It's binding to the iron. They can't absorb the iron. And they take iron supplements. Binds to the iron supplements. So just a little fun fact, if you're going to drink tea, herbal teas are fine. It's the black teas, so green tea is the same thing as, it's called orange pekoe. Just be careful with those. And how many of you drink tea, iced tea especially, with your meals? Or coffee? Not a good idea if you want to absorb iron. When it comes to bread, I get this question a lot. Not the band, the food. There was a band called Bread for you younger folks. And people say, Dr. Joe, what's a good bread? I wish I had a good answer for you. Because I'm not a fan of wheat. Because wheat has a lot of sugar in it and also has something called gluten in it. And gluten's a protein that can irritate your bowels and cause inflammation. So pumpernickel might be a better choice. It has the whole intact rye berries. And actually, rye is something that does have gluten in it. But pumpernickel might be a better choice. Gluten-free breads are better, but they're still sugar. And they don't taste as good. I mean, a good wheat bread fresh out of the oven, it's hard to beat that, let's be honest. But it's not worth it. I was doing a show the other day, and I was talking about chips, corn chips, and how at a Mexican restaurant, I try not to have the chips delivered to my table, especially if I'm hungry, until when the food comes. Or if I do have the chips there, I'll limit myself to 3 to 6 chips, and that's it. Now, they're made with genetically modified corn, which we know there's a lot of studies out saying it's not good for you. Some counter studies as well, but I don't want to argue with it. But nobody argues with the fact that when you fry something in oil that's high in omega-6 fatty acids, it increases inflammation. And that's what the chip is. And then we add salt, which we covered earlier. It's really one of the worst things you can do. So we're putting a lot of bad foods in our body with that chip. And then you eat so much you're full, and then you force the other food into your gut usually because you don't want to take it home or waste it. And so it's not a good choice. So as far as breads and corn chips go, there really aren't good choices. There might be better choices. Gluten-free, pumpernickel, again, still has gluten in it though. Those might be better choices. Folks, got to go to a break. If you have any questions, you can go to our website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. We have over 2,000 hours of podcast. If you want to make an appointment, and I think you should, we have offices in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. We'd love to be your doctors. We have with us, I feel, some of the best doctors in the world. We can do nutrition evaluations for you, talk about supplements. Again, the minimum supplements everybody should be taking are Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. And now in the winter, especially vitamin D. All those are on the website, drjoe.com. You can order them or pick them up at our offices. We accept almost all insurances out there, car accidents, sports injuries. Even if you cause the accident, folks, come see us. Even if you cause the accident, you can still get hurt, and we want to be able to treat you. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, drjoe.com. I need you to do this for me. Follow us on social media. We give away things on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito. drjoe.com is the website. Catch you in a second. Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am glad you're with us today. What we're doing today, kind of a fun show. We're giving you secret health tips. These are little things that people ask me all the time or things that I've learned over the years. And I want to share these tips with you because it's really practical. It's things that you can do every single day to help yourself get well. And usually when we do a show, we cover a topic. We're covering a bunch of topics today. It's like a variety show of healthcare. So we talked a lot, and earlier we talked about not drinking tea with meals because tea can bind to iron and prevent you from absorbing iron. We talked about if you're going to skip a meal, dinner's a better meal to skip than breakfast because breakfast food, the food burns up better in the day. You absorb less calories. Fruits and vegetables can help depression. So we covered a lot of stuff. And by the way, if you ever miss a show, we put every show on our website, drjoe.com. And we always have podcasts as well. We put out 2 podcasts a week, and that's on your podcast server. Just go to Dr. Joe for the health of it, whatever service you use. And we put out 2 podcasts a week, 2 24-minute podcasts. I also want you to follow us on social media because we post almost every day. And we're starting to do giveaways. We have some fun stuff. In fact, I told Joe we have a really high-end fancy ice cream maker, but you use fruit. You just take frozen fruit, put it in this thing, it comes out as ice cream. And so there's no other ingredients than frozen fruit in it, and it's brand new. We gave away some tickets to a concert the other day. Lady A, used to be Lady Antebellum. They, for some reason, changed their name. But Lady A, we had tickets to them with parking passes. So we give away a lot of big prizes. So you definitely want to follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And we also have a private group. It's called the Joe It Alls. And if you're not a member of the Joe It Alls, you probably should be. We just kind of have a private group. You can bounce questions around off each other, folks that are, fans. Just ask to join Joe-It-Alls on YouTube. Not YouTube, Facebook. All right, I digress. Other things that you need to do. You need to get up and move. The body is designed to stay in motion. Now, I'm not a big fan of going to the gym. I used to go when I was younger, but I'd rather get practical muscles. And I tell a story about my grandfather, my German grandfather, big brawny man, came to America, early 20s, from Germany, didn't speak English. So here was a German in America, beginning of World War II, but he was a carpenter. He's a big mountain of a man. And I remember I used to go work out with my uncle, and we lived in the same town, and I jogged from my house to his house, and then we go to his gym and lift weights. And my grandfather saw us doing this one day. And he said, you want muscles? Here's a shovel. Go dig a hole. And it really was very good advice because those are practical muscles. The other ones might look pretty, but the practical muscles are the ones that are going to give you strength, support the spine, give you stability, and actually help in longevity a lot better than just working out, what we consider a typical workout. Because when you lift a shovel, you're using your abs, using your back, your legs, your butt, your arms, your chest, your back, your pecs. So it's a much better way to do it is build up practical muscles. So doing physical labor is actually a good thing for us. Now, if we work in a office environment like I do, get up and move. When I do my radio shows, many times I do them standing up. Why? Because I'm moving. I'm constantly balancing myself. I'm staying in motion. And then you shoot for those 6,000 to 10,000 steps a day. And that's the Goldilocks spot that you want to be in, is if you can get that in a day, you've gotten a lot of good motion in your body. So you can do a standing desk if you want to, but just find excuses to walk. Park far away. Take the elevator instead of take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park on the other side. You come see us as a patient. Park on the other side of our parking lots and walk. I do it when I go to the grocery store. I do it if I'm home. I'll purposely go walk up and down the street and then check my mail and then come back in. So do things to keep your body in motion the best you possibly can. The other day, I cleaned all the windows in my house, inside and out. Do you think that's not a workout? Yeah, it was about 2 or 3 hours of up and down and moving, and I vacuumed, and I cleaned the countertops. So that's manual labor right there. It may not be heavy lifting, but it's keeping the body in motion. So we're talking today about just fun facts that you can do every day to stay healthy. Organic foods, we kind of touched on that earlier, but let me go over that a little bit more in depth. They have better, what we call polyphenol antioxidants. We talked about phytochemicals. So because they're not grown with pesticides, the pesticides kill off a lot of the good stuff. They prevent the plant from forming good stuff. So for example, you might have heard that red wine is good for your heart because it has something in it called resveratrol. Now, resveratrol is amazing. Resveratrol can actually slow down the aging process in studies. So if you're going to drink wine that has resveratrol in it, logic dictates that, wow, red wine is good for me. I should drink more red wine. 2 things. Number 1, if the grapes are sprayed with a fungicide to prevent fungus from growing, that fungicide prevents the grapes from producing resveratrol. Resveratrol is produced by the grape to prevent the grape from being attacked by the fungus. If the grape isn't being attacked by the fungus, or fungi, whatever it is, it doesn't have to produce resveratrol. So if you're going to do wine, it needs to be organic because organic, they use fungicides. If it's not organic, you're getting almost no resveratrol and other polyphenols and other phytonutrients too. But you want to do the organic. And here's the thing. Studies have shown you have to drink several bottles to up to a case of wine a day, I said a day, in order to get a medicinal benefit from resveratrol. Now, I do not want you going telling your friends that Dr. Joe said that I should drink a case of wine a day. No, that's not what I said. What I said was, if you're going to drink wine and it's not organic, you're not going to get the heart healthy benefits that everybody touts for coming from wine. Or another option, like I had this morning for breakfast, you could just eat organic grapes. You get the resveratrol without the alcohol. The alcohol is the thing that's so bad for you too. The fermentation process, the alcohol. So if you just ate organic grapes, you're going to get lots of resveratrol and you don't have to worry about the alcohol content. So there's a little fun fact about organic versus non-organic. But non-organic, many times they're given high-dose synthetic nitrogen fertilizers. The soil has been depleted. They plant the same crop over and over and over again, so it sucks the nutrients out of the soil. And basically, you're getting a tomato that looks like a tomato, but it sure doesn't taste like a tomato that I consider a tomato. And that goes for all fruits and vegetables. So organic is better because it's going to taste better probably, and it's going to have a lot more nutrients in it. And it's going to have higher antioxidants. Antioxidants are so important because antioxidants prevent free radicals from attacking your body. Free radicals are like Pac-Man. If you imagine a chemical in your body like Pac-Man, and it's just eating away at your body, waka, 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 waka. And antioxidants neutralize these free radicals. But organic produce may be considered 20 to 40% healthier because of the higher levels of antioxidants. So we have 1 or 2 servings worth of a 5-day regimen. If you're eating organic, that would be the equivalent of 1 to 2 servings would be equivalent maybe 4 or 5 servings or more sometimes. And you may not be getting any nutrients that you'll find in a organic product. Conventional appears to be twice the levels of something called cadmium, one of the 3 toxic heavy metals in our food supply: mercury, lead, cadmium. What about pesticide residues? People ask about that too. If you buy organics, it may reduce your exposure to pesticides, but not eliminate them entirely. So if you're eating organic fruits and vegetables, I do recommend that you wash them. Now, you can wash them like a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, a 1/2 cup apple cider vinegar, and a gallon of water. There are sprays that you can spray on it. I have some of those at my house. And you can spray the fruit down and then wash it. It breaks down the chemicals. Studies show they do work. So you definitely want to wash it at least in water. But if you can use something like apple cider vinegar or a spray, even better still. Now, pesticides can cross-contaminate. And there was a big thing that came out a while ago. There was a company that had genetically modified, I think it was corn actually, and the farmer next door was organic. Well, they took some of the samples of the organic farmer, I think it was in Canada actually, and they found that some of them had been genetically modified. So they sued the farmer because he was growing genetically modified crops and he didn't buy their seeds. Now, I think they won the suit. The farmer lost, if I remember correctly, but he didn't plant them. He didn't steal the seeds and plant them. It was just cross-pollination. So can anything truly ever be pure? Not in the purest sense, but organic is always going to give you a better shot. And when it comes to meat and dairy products, you want to limit your meat and dairy products the best you can. But if you're going to eat meat and dairy products, I strongly advise you do organic. Conventional chicken supply samples contaminated many times with multi-drug resistant bacteria, but sometimes you find that in your organic as well. So if I had to if I talk about the 7 deadly sins: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. Of all of them, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, the worst one would be artificial sweetener. And that's the easiest one to kick. It's in about 5,000 products, but if it has artificial sweetener in it, you shouldn't be eating it anyway because there's probably other stuff in there you don't want to eat. I've never seen in my career an organic, healthy product with artificial sweetener in it. Second thing is that the meats and dairy products would be the second thing I'd take out of your diet because they're the hardest to digest. They have the saturated fats. They put a strain on your digestive system. The number one consumer we have of energy as humans is romance. The number 2 consumer of energy is digestion. And the hardest thing to digest is animal proteins. So if you eat animal proteins, it's your choice. I've learned two things in my life. One of them is don't argue with patients or listeners. So if you're going to do it, it's your choice. I can never make you do these things. But the challenge I want to give you is this. I would like for you to give up the 7 deadly sins: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. And under sugar, we put breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas. I want you to give them up for 2 weeks. And I want you to take Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, minimum. If you could do more, I'd say digestive enzymes, vitamin D, vitamin B. But if you just want to start basic, fruits, Super Greens and Essential Source, eat fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Go to the website, drjoe.com, type in the words, so what can I eat? And listen to the show we did on So What Can I Eat? It wasn't a show, it was just a lecture. And I talk about breakfast, lunches, dinner, snacks. I lay it out really simple for you. If you like reading, I have a book called Eating Right for the Health of It. It's the first book I ever wrote. And it lays out how to eat. Dietary plans. It has over 200 recipes. You don't know what to eat. You want to cook? Dr. Joe's Eating Right for the Health of It. Great source of recipes. I tell everybody this. Do it for 2 weeks. Don't cheat. No cheating at all. 2 weeks. Let's see what happens. If you feel better, you will. Wow, Dr. Joe, now I understand it. I can do this. And I save so much money. And it's so easy. I had no idea it was so easy to eat healthy. I can do this for the rest of my life. Or after 2 weeks, you say, I don't see any difference. Dr. Joe lied to me. I'm going to go back to the way I used to eat. Great. No loss, really, right? You just ate healthy for 2 weeks. I've never had anyone ever change their diet, ever, in the 40 years I've been talking to patients, ever say, Dr. Joe, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I didn't listen to you. Never heard it. Because it's what the body needs. The body requires high levels of high-quality nutrients, and in our society today, with the conventional foods being what they are, we're just destroying our immune system, our brain function, our age. We're dying earlier and earlier, statistically. Why would we want to do that? Is it worth it? Is that hamburger, is that meatball sandwich worth it if you get a chronic disease? Now, people that eat plant-based diets sometimes get sick, but way less. The odds are way less that you're going to get sick eating a plant-based diet. And some other things that have come up is how fast food affects your immune system. Now, this is important, especially in today's environment of everything's about immunity and viruses and who's getting sick and who's not surviving the viruses, usually because of comorbidities. I've done many shows on comorbidity. So fast food is the least complex way to consume calories. What does that mean? It's easy. It's quick. Burgers and fries diet isn't good. I don't think I need to tell you that. But it's more than just hearsay. Studies have warned about negative fast food effects on the brain and mental health and negative effects of fast food on all parts of your body. But now it turns out that it's actually adversely affecting your immune system. Not now. We knew that for a while, but it's making headline news now. Especially in an infection-laden world like we are today, fast food can be the one aspect that you have control over. If you dissect out what people are eating, they're eating basically a lot of 7 deadly sins: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. But in 2018, the University of Bonn, they ran a somewhat ironic study exploring fast food and the immune system. And they placed a group of mice on what they determined to be the Western diet. A lot of 7 deadly sins. And high sugar, low fiber. So it was fast food nutrition. I put that in quotes, nutrition. After a month, they found the animal's immune system were having interesting reaction. They developed a strong inflammatory response throughout the body. Anywhere they checked in the mouse's body, there was an inflammatory response going on. So the study compared the response to the way our immune system would react after being infected with a very dangerous bacteria. So eating fast food, the body responds as if it's being attacked by a dangerous bacteria. Over time, fast food makes our immune system more aggressive. We train our immune system on how to work. So the longer the body's exposed to unhealthy foods, the more aggressive the immune system becomes. Now that sounds like it should be a good thing, right? Who wouldn't want a more powerful immune system? But the system isn't meant to be in a constant state of intense activation. And essentially what it does, it reprograms itself and it becomes like an ADD immune system. And it's so hyperactive that eventually it burns out. When I talk about the immune system, I compare it to like an army. You have soldiers, you only have so many soldiers to fight the bad guys. And if more bad guys start coming in from other sides, those soldiers have to be spread out. And so they're not as strong. So if we're bombarding our body with the typical 7 deadly sin diet, we're bombarding our body with these fast foods. We only have so many warriors, and we can only make new warriors so fast. And it really has an adverse effect long term. So the immune system doesn't regulate, or self-regulate, I should say, when the fast food stops. That same study went on that once the immune system develops a response to fast food, it's really hard to turn it off. When the mice returned to their low-fat diets, their normal healthy diets, inflammation levels did drop, but the way the immune cells had been programmed, they stayed the same. They stayed in this state of hypervigilance. Only recently it's been discovered that we have something called an innate immune system, and it forms a memory. Innate means it's inside the body, and the body's trained, and it has a memory. And so when an infection occurs, the body's defenses remain in this kind of alarm state, and they can respond quickly to new attacks, but eventually they start to burn out. So once again, I said it earlier, always pay for the sins of your past. Whatever you've done in your past, it's going to come back to haunt you. And when it comes to diet, it comes back to haunt everyone. Eating a good diet, it's a good haunting. It's a Casper the Friendly Ghost haunting. If it's the typical American diet, the 7 deadly sins, it's going to come back and bite you. Nobody can get past it. I had a friend of mine years ago, and he drank a lot. And he said, alcohol. And he said, I'm fine, I'm thin, I work out, never have a problem, don't get a hangover, no big deal. Well, then later on in life, 50s come around, his age, high cholesterol, he's on medication. High blood pressure, he's on medication. Impotence, he's on medication. Fatty liver, he's on medication. He paid for his sins. It was that alcohol consumption throughout his life that got him. Early on in his life, only in his 50s. So, I mean, I'm older than him. I'm not on any medications. When I go give blood, I donated blood the other day. And I told him, I said, listen, I said, watch my blood. It comes out pretty fast. And the guy looked at me like, yeah. And sure enough, there was a guy next to me, young guy. He was maybe in his early 20s. And they started us exactly the same time. And the kid jokingly said, want to race? I said, I'll beat you. And sure enough, I beat him by like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And he's young. So healthy flowing blood is something a lot of people don't see. Doctors see the average person. They don't see normal people. Average is what everybody else has. I don't want to be average. I want to be better than average. If you're eating fast food, it's going to come back and bite you. So, folks, put a plug in now. If you want to come see us as a patient, we run a chiropractic, pain management, and nutrition clinics called Health Plus Wellness Centers. And we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobby, Atlanta area. We would love to be your doctors. Wouldn't it be cool to get a doctor who's trying to get to the cause of your problem? That's what we do. And if we need to refer you out, we have lists of doctors we can refer you to and co-manage your case. Physical therapists, medical doctors, orthopedists, neurologists. We're happy to co-manage your case. And doctors love it because they can only do what they do. They're kind of stuck when it comes to actually getting somebody well. That's where we come in. So if you would like the opportunity to try to get well and stay well naturally, go to our website, drjoe.com. We accept almost every insurance out there. First vid is normally $720. We've reduced that to $299. We're going to raise that, by the way, next couple of weeks. So if you want to make an appointment, now's the time. And bring your kids. Children have spines. And if they start out healthy on a good diet, healthy spine, what's called spinal hygiene, they're probably going to have a much healthier life. So bring your kids, bring your family, bring your senior citizens. We want to do everything we can to get the nervous system working, the digestive system working, and a good diet. And if we can do that, I can be pretty confident that you're going to be very happy with the results. And you'll probably save a ton of money. Chiropractic, and for most back cases, most effective, least expensive treatment there is. What are you waiting for? What's taking you so long? Biggest complaint I get, why didn't I do this sooner? So do it right now. You can go to our website, drjoe.com. I want you to follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito. And I'm luring you because we give away prizes to our social media followers. We gave away tickets to a big concert the other day with parking passes. Sometimes there's supplements we give away. Sometimes supplements, we get an excess of them. We get too much coming in. We'll put them on sale. So you're not going to know about that unless you follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito. And we post every day with health tips. What do you got to lose, folks? At Dr. Joe Esposito, it's free. So what we're talking about, little health tips, fun facts. If you eat a fast food diet and this inflammatory response occurs, according to the University of Bonn, or Bonn, B-O-N-N, I think it's Bonn, long-term changes can develop into things like arteriosclerosis, diabetes. These are diseases of excess. We're eating too much and too much of the bad things. So we have an answer. And this is why I go crazy with the disconnect between, quote, healthcare and what the research shows. The research shows chiropractic, most effective, least expensive treatment for most back pain. Everybody should be going to a chiropractor first thing if they have pain. And then if we need to, we can escalate care and send you somewhere else. Plant-based diet. McDougall has done the research. Esselstyn has done the research. Sinatra's done the research showing that with heart disease, many times you can reverse or eliminate the need for medication for heart disease and diabetes on a plant-based diet. There's your answer. I don't know why everybody isn't screaming from the rooftops. I am. I think you should be too. So the research is there. Weight loss, digestion, anti-aging, brain function, Alzheimer's. There's nothing out there that wouldn't somehow benefit from you eating a better diet and taking the right supplements. And when it comes to supplements, the minimum supplements I suggest, across the board, just a general statement, Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They taste great. They're 2 powders. I mix them together. I like mint Super Greens. Some of the folks I work with like the plain Super Greens. Try one of each. See how you like them. But I couldn't imagine a day going by without it. And especially in the winter, folks, please take your vitamin D3 with vitamin K2. I take 5 drops of Dr. Joe's vitamin D every day. You should too. And then we can advance it from there. I take hormone support. As I get older, my hormones are changing. I take Dr. Joe's hormone support for men. We have it for women. We have digestive enzymes. Whenever I eat a cooked meal, I take digestive enzymes. Omega-3 fatty acids for healthier brain and inflammation issues. Nitric oxide, 3rd most popular supplement we have, opens up your blood vessels. If you have high blood pressure, many times, not always, many times it can help lower the blood pressure. If you need circulation to your reproductive organs, your brain, your muscles, nitric oxide, and boy, talk about a burst of energy. So we have the supplements. An explanation of each one of them is on the website. Look through it. If you have any questions, you could send me questions through the website, drjoe.com. A little bot pops up. Send me your questions. Joe or I will answer them as quickly as possible. Sometimes we're not watching the computer 24 hours a day, and we'll get right back to you. But the most important thing is just come see us. My doctors are very busy. They book up very quickly, but we want you to be part of our health team. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, you can book it right online, drjoe.com. You can call us if you have questions. Car accidents, sports injuries, even if you caused the accident, folks, if the car was damaged, you were damaged. I've never seen it any other way. So if you're serious about wanting to get well and you're worried about your future, it'd be a good idea to make an appointment with us, drjoe.com. We'd be happy to set up an appointment for you, your friends, and your family. Normally, the first visit is $720. We've reduced that to $299. Don't wait. And bring your kids, too. And the website, again, drjoe.com. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in at Dr. Joe Esposito on social media.